There's a place that time seems to have forgotten, a place where whispers echo through empty corridors, and shadows hide stories too dark to tell. Tonight, we step inside an abandoned hospital, where every room has a secret, and every corner holds a memory of the past. It stands as a forgotten monument, its windows like vacant eyes staring out at the world that moved on without it. The stories told about this place are not just tales. They're warnings. They say that once you step through these rusted gates, you're no longer just an observer. You become part of its history, another whisper in the wind that flows through its broken panes. The walls themselves seem to breathe, holding their breath in anticipation of nightfall. This hospital was once a bustling center of care, a beacon of hope in the community. Built in the early 1900s, it served thousands of patients over the decades, but hope slowly turned to despair as tragedy found its way within these walls. Rumors began to spread like a disease through the town, stories of strange deaths that doctors couldn't explain, mysterious disappearances of both patients and staff, and a string of unexplained accidents that defied all logic. Fear eventually overshadowed the hospital's purpose, and its reputation soured. By the late 1970s, the doors were shuttered for good, and the hospital was abandoned, left to decay under the weight of its own dark history. Yet, many say the spirits never left. They linger, trapped in a timeless loop of suffering and sorrow, their presence a cold, heavy blanket that smothers anyone who dares to enter. The history books may have closed on this chapter, but the stories continue to be written in the dust and shadows. Walking through the main entrance, the change is immediate. The air feels colder, heavier, as if the building itself is trying to push you out. The silence is thick, a physical presence that's broken only by the unsettling creak of old floorboards under your feet. It's a sound that makes you stop and listen, wondering if you're truly alone. In the operating room, rusted surgical tools lie scattered across trays and the floor, as if someone left in a terrible hurry, fleeing from something unseen. It's a chilling tableau frozen in time. And the patient rooms, they're even more haunting. The beds are still there, mattresses stained and covered in decades of dust, like ghostly reminders of the lives once lived and lost within these four walls. You can almost feel the echoes of their final moments. Some visitors claim they hear footsteps behind them, following them down the long, dark hallways. Others hear faint voices calling out their names from empty rooms, or catch fleeting glimpses of figures in the corner of their eyes. But when you try to confront the source, there's nothing there. Only the oppressive silence of the abandoned, and the unnerving feeling that you're being watched. The local legends surrounding this place are as much a part of its foundation as the bricks and mortar. Generations have passed down stories of a nurse who, devoted to her patients even in death, never left her post. They say she can still be seen wandering the halls at night, a spectral figure in white, checking on patients long since gone. Her soft, shuffling footsteps are a common report from those who have braved the darkness. Others speak of a far more tragic spirit, a child whose laughter is said to echo through the empty pediatric ward. A sound that should be joyful becomes terrifyingly out of place here, a chilling reminder that no children have played in these rooms for decades. Paranormal investigators who have come seeking answers have often left with more questions. Their reports are filled with accounts of sudden, inexplicable temperature drops that chill you to the bone, shadow figures darting across doorways, and their own high-tech equipment turning on and off by itself as if manipulated by an unseen hand. The evidence they've collected only deepens the mystery, suggesting that something truly conscious and intelligent still resides here. Of all the unsettling places within this hospital, the morgue is perhaps the most chilling. Even getting close to the entrance, the atmosphere changes. It's a cold, silent, and deeply oppressive space, and the faint metallic smell of decay still clings to the air after all these years. It feels as though the weight of past sorrows lingers here more intensely than anywhere else. This was the final stop for so many, and that energy has seeped into the very walls. Some who have dared to enter claim that if you stand in the darkness long enough, motionless and silent, the spirits will eventually reveal themselves. They might manifest as a whisper in your ear, a cold touch on your shoulder, or a fleeting shape in the deep shadows. But be warned, curiosity has a price in places like this. The spirits of the morgue are not always welcoming to the living, and disturbing their rest might just invite them to follow you home. It's a risk that few are willing to take, and for good reason. As we finally leave the hospital, the sun begins to set, casting long, menacing shadows that stretch and crawl over the abandoned halls. The building seems to sigh in the fading light, settling in for another night of solitude and secrets. The stories we've heard, the whispers on the wind, The countless unexplained events, they all remain, locked away inside, waiting for the next curious soul to push open the doors and step into their world. This hospital isn't just an empty building. It's a keeper of memories, a vessel of forgotten tragedies. And perhaps, just perhaps, it will continue to watch from its lonely hill, silently, eternally, holding on to its ghosts. Do you dare to enter? Subscribe for more haunted explorations.